Hello again. So in our last video, we left off here with our basic HTML file. And now we're going to start adding some tags, some common tags that you're going to see and use all the time. So the first one is going to be in the head, and it's called title. And I will say, hello, world. And if I hit save and refresh, it titles the page for the browser, which is really cool. See, the head is like kind of under the hood, under the scenes, defining how things are going to operate. And then the body is what actually shows up over here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you is commenting. Commenting is super handy when you're coding, indispensable, you could say. And what commenting does is it's a way to leave notes to yourself and others in the code. But even more handy than that is it's a way of turning things on and off. Oh, and I should explain what I'm doing. So it's less than, exclamation point, dash, and you'll see now that everything turned green. So it's like not, turned off. And then to close the commenting, you just do the same thing in reverse without the question mark. And now if I say save and refresh, it's back to index.html because this is disabled. VS Code's pretty cool. You can go, let's see here. If you right click on this, where is it? Edit. Here we go. In the edit menu, you can toggle the comment on and off if you want. And there's a hotkey for that, which is super great. Okay, so now that we know that, we can open up this file and you'll kind of understand what's happening with all this green stuff. So what this is are comments with notes in the code. And what it is basically your homework. It's also notes to myself for this demo. So I'll go through it all one by one. Okay, so from the top it says, save this file with the name 1-a your initials.html. Okie dokie. So save as 1-a PA. Cool. Okay, check. All right, so then give this page a title. 1A marking up HTML. So let's do that. Copy that. I'll put title. And then I will save it. And I will open it up over here to see what's happening. And there it is, and it's got a title. Killer. Okay, next. Create a heading with the text 1A marking up HTML. So I'm actually going to make this a little smaller. And this one a little bigger so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're doing the H1 tag, which is the heading 1, which is reserved for the most important text on your page. So if you're thinking about hierarchy, this is the most important thing. Some developers feel like you should only have one H1 tag on a page. But, most would agree that that's the H1's the most important thing, kind of the focal point. So H1, and I'm going to hit save and then refresh, and there it is, marking up HTML. Cool. Okay. So the H1 tag, heading 1. Next up, we're going to create an H2 tag, so the second one in the hierarchy, with the text part 1. I'm going to copy it, H2, paste, save, refresh. There we go. Create a paragraph create a paragraph tag with one paragraph of lorem ipsum text. Okay, so let's make a paragraph. Get my Mr. Ipsum. Cool. And then I will put it in here. So paragraph. And refresh. Oop. And save, refresh. Okay, so here we go. You'll notice that like with this paragraph, this kind of goes on forever, which is, and sometimes it's really nice to have each line on its own line, and other times it's not. So if you do Alt-Z, you can toggle back and forth. So now we can actually read our crazy text here. Okay, so let's keep going. Do another one. H2, call it part 2, save, refresh. Then we'll create another paragraph. I'll just the same one. Oops. Save, refresh. Okay. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so then it says in the paragraph above, make some text bold, some italic, and some bold and italic. Okay, so how we do that is, let's say we want to make tacos bold. We use this tag. There. Save. There we are. There's our bold tacos. And for italic, let's make sustainable italic. To do that, use the emphasis. EM for emphasis. We'll make it, this is, oh. Sustainable. Me. Okay. Save. Refresh. We could also make some things bold and italic. So, we could do woke bodega. So strong. Woke. And there it is. Woo! Okay. So that's pretty straightforward. Strong for strong, EM for emphasis. Now we could, instead of using these strong tags, we could do B and I. And it will look exactly the same. And you would say, oh, well, that's like less to type and it looks exactly the same. Why don't we do it? And the reason is for accessibility. So one of the, I think, really cool things about HTML is that there is meaning and hierarchy in the text that you augment the structure and the meaning of the text, even if you don't see it, even if it's a screen reader, if it's being read, it still carries that this is important and this is emphasized. It's not just a visual thing. Okay, so let's undo that. Back to emphasis and bold. I'm sorry, emphasis and strong. Save, refresh, and keep going. Okay. So then, in addition to H1 and H2, there's also H3, H4, H5, and H6. Text. Okay. There's no H7, so that's heading down to H1, down to H6. There's ways around that, but 7 levels of hierarchy is quite a bit. There's also no P1, P2. Those don't work. Those don't mean anything. Okay, next we're gonna make a link. Okay, because yeah, it's the internet, right? So this text or anything in your text can link to other texts or other places or other information, which is like pretty wild if you think about it. So to do that, it's the A tag. And so this is what text is going to be displayed in this tag. I say google.com and I hit save and I refresh. Google.com is there, but nothing's happening. And that's because we need this. We need to say href equals. Then let's go over here, go to Google. Google. What's going on here? Yay. Okay. Okay, and we need the full URL, this whole crazy thing. HTTPS, blah, 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 blah. You don't tend to see this anymore because it's so ubiquitous. But to have our link actually work, it needs to be in there. Okay, so save this. Go back over there. And when it works, it changes, and you can see that's a link. And when I roll over, it comes up. Google. Awesome. All right, so let's stick that over here. Okay, so then it says create a link to another stripped down local web page. All right, so this is going to be slightly more challenging. Create a link to another stripped down local page with only a page title and a link back to this page. Okay, so let's create a new page. So I'll make a new file. We'll make it HTML. We're going to save it right next door. We'll call this 1A 2. Okay. And we'll just do a little review. So, if you're starting from scratch, you can just grab it from the internet or have your own that you just keep reusing, but we'll just do it. HTML, and then we need HTML. And we need a head. Body. Oh, and I see it's not auto-completing the code because I saved the name of this file wrong. So let's save as .html. It's like, why is this behaving weird? Boom. Yay. So now, I hope, if I do body, it's going to, yeah, it's awesome. Okay. Cool. All right. And then in the head, we're going to make a title. Call this page 2. And we're going to make a link back to page 1. All right, so let's save all that. Let's make a new tab. Let's open our file. How it's going. Yay. Okay, cool. All right, so we know we get this href attribute equals. But what do we do? So this is going to be, at the moment, a local link, a local relative link. The link we looked at before, over here, was an absolute link to a server on the internet. We'll talk more about that later, but now we have to link relative to the file itself. Okay, so to do that, go to the Finder. We look to see what's going on. Okay, so this is where we're at the moment, and this is where we want to go. And both things are in the same root folder. So they're in the same level of the folder hierarchy. So all we need to do then is grab the file name of where we want to go, stick it in here, say that, save, refresh, and we're back to where we were before. We could even go back over here, create a link to another. Yeah, okay, so here we're going to make a link. A link to page 2. Same thing, we look to see what we got. We're going from here to here, grab that. Save. And now we have a very simple but functional navigation, which is pretty awesome. All right, so we'll cover just a few more things. So let's say, I'll add it over here for the homework. And it's going to be add a horizontal rule between the two parts above. Okay, so horizontal rule is really simple. So it'll be right here. It is just an HR tag. This is another one that doesn't have a closing tag. So let's save, refresh. And part 1. Yeah, here too. Make it look slightly nicer. Great. Okay, what else? Another thing we're going to be dealing with a lot is lists, and there are two types of lists that we do. An ordered list. So the way that works is list item. So OL for ordered list. And then each item in the list is enclosed in these LI tags. So we could call this item 1. Item 2. Item 3. And then finally, an unordered list, would follow very similar syntax. Drinks with caffeine here. But they are ordered. Okay,